Hey there, STEM enthusiasts. This is Courtney, and welcome back to the STEM Spark, the place where we ignite creativity, curiosity, and confidence in every learner through science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Okay, today I am sharing one of my all time favorite projects. This is one that I use in my classroom. I've used it several times over multiple years with multiple kids, and it takes imagination, science, and storytelling and smashes them together in the best possible way. This project is called the Create Your Own Planet Project. This is a student led project where kids get to be the architects of a brand new world. We're talking climate, culture, creatures, the whole deal. But not only does it let them flex that creativity muscle, which we are so excited about and is so important, but it also gets them thinking critically about how things interconnect and how systems overlap, whether it's ecosystems and weather or economies or how a year is measured. All of these things connect together, and they are having to think about this critically using their background knowledge and their real life experience in a way that applies it to something different and something new that they're creating. So it is awesome. Let's set the stage with a book. I love reading in STEM. I think literacy is highly important. Anytime I can read aloud to students, no matter what their age, I really try to do it. So we're gonna do a hook with a read aloud. Some of my go-to choices are a strange, or it's just called Strange Planet by Nathan Pyle. And I would use this third through fifth grade. It is very simple. It doesn't have a lot of words, but the thinking is a bit more complex, which you could use it with younger grades with some prompting, or maybe if they have a little bit more advanced comprehension level. But it is great for sparking big ideas about unique worlds and the words we use to describe those things. And so again, there's not a ton of words. The pictures are really great. Simple summary is aliens come to Earth, they're observing a creature, and they're taking notes. And the creature is a cat, but they don't know it's called a cat. And so they describe what it's doing and how it's acting and what it does with very unique terms. And so it's really fun. It's got some humor. It is a great read aloud, especially for those older kids. Okay, the next story that I use for younger students is called The Three Little Aliens and the Big Bad Robot. It is by Margaret McNamara and Mark Fearing. This one is based off the story of the Three Little Pigs. It is a great story. It is really super cute. A mama has three little aliens. They grow up, and then she sends them off to other planets to build their own houses and to make lives for themselves. And so it talks about the different planets. It gives students a foundation understanding of, okay, different planets are different. And so it kind of sets the stage and the groundwork for them to be able to kind of jump off from. And so this does have more words. It is more of a story based kind of book. And it just gives them a bigger picture of what creating a planet would maybe look like. And it's a super cute. It builds off of the foundation of the Three Little Pigs that they're probably already familiar with. And so it is a great book. It's really cute. And then if you would like a chapter book or one that you could read throughout the project or one that you could kind of use like coinciding with the project and maybe do some literacy stuff with is The Wild Robot by Peter Brown. It is super popular right now. The movie came out. It's great. It is a book for exploring how the environment shapes life. And so this is going to be a little bit more in depth because it is a chapter book and going to have a little bit more content, be a little bit more critical thinking and things like that. And so if that is kind of the tone that you want to go for or the vibe you need for this project, then it is a great option. But there are tons of planet books out there. You just do a search and you will find something. Reading aloud sets the tone. It plants those seeds that they need in order to grow into an idea. And it gets kids thinking about and talking about what makes a planet worthwhile, what makes a planet livable, what would make a good planet, what would you want on your planet, what would you not want, is there anything you wouldn't want on your planet? And so it starts them like thinking through those types of things, and it is super great. Okay, next step is the project components. So I have a whole guideline that I give my students, and I have two sets of tasks. The first set is required components, every planet must have, and then I have choose from components that they can customize their project to be what they want, to match their vision, to align with their interests, or different things. So the required components that I choose, again, you pick whatever you want to require. I do this because it aligns with some of the things they're already learning. So physical description, I want a detailed picture of your planet's appearance, its size, its color, surface features. So this is a great way to pull in some vocabulary: mountains, oceans, forests. Are there any unusual geological formations that make things stand out? Are they man-made? Are they nature-made? So different things like that that they can think about. The next required component is about atmosphere and weather. So I want them to think about, what is the climate like? Are there storms? Do you have seasons on your planet? Um, do you have unusual weather? Do you have natural disasters? Do you have anything in the atmosphere or weather that shapes life or can increase life or damage life? Those types of things. So thinking through how all of those things work together, right? And then the third required component that I have is the ecology and life forms. So every planet must describe the ecosystem, what plants, what animals, do they have intelligent species? If so, what do they look like? How do they survive? What do they need to survive? How do they interact with each other? All of those types of things. So those are the three that I do require. And then I have a whole list of things that they get to choose from. So my choose from list includes geography and habitability. So which areas are safe to live in and which are dangerous or uninhabitable. Again, bringing in some of that really good vocabulary that you can talk about with your students. What do these words mean? And then what do we know about our world that we can relate that to, right? So they might say, oh, well, uninhabitable will be the North Pole or Antarctica or the desert or different things like that. So I think they're going to start naturally thinking of those things, and then you can bring in things that they may not naturally come up with, like volcanoes. Would you want to live on a volcano? Or rainforest. Would that be good or bad? And kind of building on that as well. And there's always room for mini lessons within that. So especially if you have the space in your time frame to pull in some of those mini lessons you could do on the different types of habitability or different types of geographical formations or different types of weather, those different types of things that you could pull in little mini lessons, or even like find a video to teach on this and give them a little background knowledge. Things like that, I think, go a long way with deepening understanding, and not only like helping them to understand it better in their own mind, but then be able to apply it to a different situation on their planet, right? Another choice that they have is cultural and societal aspects. So that's a lot of words or like a hard thing to say. But basically, it's talking about traditions, language, belief systems. Are there multiple languages? Do you have multiple belief systems? Do you have just one? Do you have any form of government? Do you have different governments for different places, or is it all the same? How do different groups around your planet interact? Do they all live in one spot? Do you have multiple land masses? Are we talking continents here? That type of thing. And is it peaceful or otherwise? Having them think about those things, because that is real world and real life. The next component that they get to choose from is economic activities and resources. um, what are the main industries on your planet? How do people um, make life and things like that? How do they trade? Do they have food, or how do they get food? Sorry. How do they get food, water, shelter? Do they have a form of money? Or is it just like we love off the land kind of thing? So, what kind of resources, and how do they go about getting those and making sure it's equitable, or is it not equitable, right? And so having them think through those types of things, again, a great way to push in to some deeper concept for your older kids. Another one that students really love is culinary delights. They love this part. What is on the menu? Staples like food. What are some cooking styles? Any exotic or unusual ingredients? I will say most of the students, candy is the main food group on their planet. And a lot of times they're like, it's healthy for you. So it's really cute to see how they've taken something that they really enjoy and wanted to make it better or good. And so on their planet, it's good for you. And so that's really cute. Another component they can choose from is technology and advancements. How do they get around? How do they communicate? And this goes past language. This goes to not only spoken or written, but do they have telephones? Are they using internet? All those different types of things. Do they have power sources? What do their power sources do? And how do they fuel the communities or what have you? A medical care is another thing they could talk about in there. And then, are there any great inventions that your planet has made that has kind of shaped society or even gone intergalactic and passed on to other planets? It's been really cute to see how they have kind of taken the invention component of that and run with it. I was really blown away with several projects that really kind of hit into that really well. That was fun. Another choice they have is history and mythology. And honestly, guys, this is not one that really hit home with me, because it is more of that writing kind of component. But I have had so many groups really love this piece. They want to tell their planet's history. They want to create that timeline and tag into key events. They want to share those important discoveries that have been made on their planet, or conflicts, or allies, times of peace that they've had. The stories and the legends of the inhabitants, what they believe and how their origins got started. I was so impressed with some of the stories that came out of this choice component, and it really made me excited that it was in there. And then another one that they really latched onto and they really loved was called interstellar relations. And this is the planet's relationship with other worlds, so other planets. Do they have trade agreements? Do they have alliances? Do they have rivalries or even galactic feuds? And so what I saw happen with this was a like teacher ninja moment. So in class, they were working on their planets, but outside of class, they were talking amongst themselves about who they had alliances with and who they had wars or feuds or unrest with. And so it was really cool to watch them kind of think about critically, like, oh, well, our inhabitants would not get along with your inhabitants because of these reasons, or your world would not be suitable for our inhabitants to even live in. And so we would not go there, but maybe we're peaceful with you. And so it was really fun to watch them kind of do that outside of even the class time. And then when they presented, to talk about that, and they're like, oh well, we're allies with this planet because da 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 da, and we're not allies with this planet, or we're at war with this planet because da da da. And it was so fun. It was so fun. I just love stuff like that. And so take all of those components and use them as you will, and see what amazing things your students and kiddos come up with. It is truly spectacular. All right, let's put it all together. So I encourage students to show and not just tell. And so that means drawings or models. So they are making drawings of their planet or a model of their planet. We pull out the clay and pipe cleaners and pom poms and styrofoam balls and all kinds of different art supplies. And they are able to really create animals, buildings, maps, their actual planet, and really watch it kind of come to life a little bit in a more hands-on kind of way. And so they do that. They have to have some kind of piece. It doesn't have to be a 3D model. I do accept like a paper version if they want to do like a newspaper or something like that. They do have to have a written planet profile. So for this one, some of them made like a brochure. Like if you were to visit our planet, this is what you would find. It's really cute. Some did like a newspaper article about their planet and included their like planet profile, describing all the required components in there. And so that was super fun to see. Another option you could do based on availability of supplies, materials, and time. Have them do a short skit as a part of their presentation, or maybe even make a video of a visit to their planet, or a reporter reporting on this new planet that was found, or something like that. Or maybe even they were a tourist and they're being interviewed about their visit to the planet, kind of thing. So you can run with that, and students will also run with that if you give them kind of the freedom and the flexibility. But having them create something as a part of their process, I feel like is really important, and it helps other people see the vision even more. All right. And then one of my favorite parts is the final showcase day, where the classroom turns into an intergalactic travel expo. And students get to rotate around. They get to ask each other questions. We invite other classes to come in. And so maybe it's a class that's doing the same project and they're now getting to see what others are doing. Or maybe it's a kid that gets to do this project next year and they're like, oh, this is really cool, I'm already going to start thinking about it. So some of the questions that you might hear would be even related specifically to their planet. So like, how do your people survive the acid rain, or how do your people communicate, or what's the most popular food on your planet? What happens if a visitor doesn't follow your culture's greeting tradition or doesn't know your language? And so it really is fun to watch those conversations kind of take place. And it's not just fun. It's a deep dive into cause and effect, systematic thinking, and creative problem solving. And it's really cool. And even if they haven't thought about the answers to those questions prior to the kids asking, a lot of times they know their planet well enough to be able to answer those questions. And so it's really amazing to see that. All right, that is a wrap on today's episode. Whether you're a teacher looking for your next big project or a parent wanting to inspire some STEM at home creativity, designing a planet is a fantastic way to bring STEM and STEAM concepts to life. Thanks for joining me on the STEM Spark. If you love this idea, make sure to subscribe to never miss that next episode. Smash that like button. And if you try it out, I would love to hear about the worlds that your learners create. Send me a message or comment below. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and remember, curiosity is the best fuel for discovery. This is Courtney, and you've been watching The STEM Spark, where curiosity sparks creativity. Bye.